stew, and her name is Minerva. She's the flower of the flower.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes, that, of course, is the trailer for Wraith of God 3, Fear Hollow, by our very own Phil Diaz. You know, I was on Phil's show Friday night because I forgot to go the week before, but this time I remembered and I was on there and got some Hammer trivia, and I was kind of embarrassed because he asked me who the first Frankenstein was played by in the first Hammer Frankenstein film. Of course, the correct answer is Christopher Lee, but I said Peter Cushing, thinking Christopher Lee, but it came out Peter Cushing. And then it took me a couple minutes to I realized what I had said. I said, no. It's Christopher Lee. And I kind of felt like I got it wrong, but I did get it right up here. It just came out wrong. Peter Cushing was, of course, Dr. Frankenstein in that movie. And then I missed the Ursula Andress question, which I'm a little embarrassed. It's kind of they had a movie called She, I think it was, kind of a weird thriller kind of film, Hammer film called She, and Ursula Andress was in it. And I guessed Ingrid Pitt. And then I was kind of ashamed of myself that I didn't get that one right. But I got the rest of them correct, except for Brandon's nonsensical B-movie straight-to-video questions. Like, who could possibly know any of those? Except those of you who are fans of straight-to-video B movies, which I had a short period of time where I was perusing video shops, you know, in the last days of the videotape rental, and I would grab stuff like there was a movie called Miracle Mile with Anthony Edwards from ER, and was also in the original Top Gun. He was Maverick's partner, Goose. And anyway, he's in this movie, and it was about like this nuclear launch. And he's not really, he answers his phone thinking it's this girl that he met earlier in the day, and she was going to call him on at this phone booth, right? Back in the day before cell phones. It's an 80s movie. He answers the phone, and it's some young soldier thinking he just called his mom, and he's warning him about this impending nuclear attack, and again, for, you know, with Russia and this whole thing. And then the kid on the phone gets, and, you know, Anthony Edwards is going, "Is this real? What are you talking about?" And then he hears the kid get shot in the background, and so he's there holding the phone. And so he goes back into the coffee shop and starts telling this weird variety of characters there about what he just heard. And of course, some of them think the Crosby chick was there, the blonde from Star Trek The Next Gen. What's her name? Something Crosby. She was there, and she's, "Oh, I used to date a guy that was senator or whatever, and those are launch codes, and we got to get out of here. We're all, you know." And so then it goes through this whole night where he's trying to find this girl that he met the morning, or that earlier in that day, and he's trying to find her when all he knows is her name, and to save her from this impending nuclear war. And then as the day goes on, he starts to wonder if it was just a hoax and if it's all real, because they were. And so it's actually a really good film. And but it was just one I'd pulled off the shelf. So I don't even know how I got on that subject, but welcome to Aaron Live. It's October 6th, 2024. We've got loads of stuff going on right now. I'm a very, very busy guy, and I'll share a lot of that with you, get you guys updated on the Kit Carter campaign. Fulfillment is the word I was looking for. What's up with Wraith of God 3? And then we've got the regular, stuff that we do on the show. So plenty of good stuff for anybody who's interested in good stuff. So anyway, let's take a look at the chat, see who's here, and move on from there. Mark Pengrin claims first, and I'm sure he was. He said, of course, it's not a contest, so I win nothing. That's absolutely right, Mark, but we do appreciate your participation, and thank you for being here. Creative A is here. Oh, sounds like a cubed arrives tomorrow. So excited. Yeah, Creative Faye ordered a copy of Power Cubed. She's getting caught up on all of her Lopresti-verse material. So thank you for that, Creative Faye. Barbara Paulson's here. Hail, Aaron, and maybe Shelly. Looking forward to 4. Looking forward to 4. Well, Shelly's not here. I mean, she's here, but she's not here. But we always appreciate the well wishes, and I will pass those on to her. And there will become a time, hopefully not in the too distant future, where Shelly will be back being a regular on the show. She is back to printing labels, though, but we'll get to that in a minute. Randy Howell, 4th, no medal for me. You get nothing, man, and you're stuck in Canada. Wow. Citizen Ronan's joining us. Pity Maw. Good to see you catching hold of that ghost stream. There is hope for you yet. Good to see you catching hold of that ghost stream. Are you talking about Phil's show? I don't know. I know just enough to get by. That's all I know. Repairman Jack says, I'm here. The show can start now. Where's Shelly? Of course, everybody always wants to. Well, you know where Husker's at? He's barking at an Amazon delivery guy, no doubt. Why are they delivering on Sundays? How many times do I have to say this? We don't need packages on Sunday. Can we just have one day where my dog's not in the window barking at a delivery guy? There, I'm fine. Nordic Nerd is here. Chocolates Curry is joining us. Matthew Muma is joining us. Fox Mulder is here. Thanks, Fox, for joining us. Stippling Vaughn saw Ron Randall in Baltimore. Did you? That's quite a trip for Ron. He likes your werewolf t-shirt. Will Husker allow him over to get one? You can't get within 50 feet of this house without the dog getting on your case. Iodine 74 in before Aaron. That's kind of crazy. In before Aaron. In before. Oh, I see. So you're actually in the chat before the show was live. So that is crazy. You're usually a late arriver, Iodine, but I appreciate you being here. Wait a minute. Randy Howell, Aaron is officially late. I wasn't that late. It's like a minute or two. I was just organizing a few things. Gee, Merry Christmas, you guys. Bill Maxwell's joining us. Heat Miser, Toshiro. Leg Kick is here because Leg Kick is almost always here. Marcus Killigrew, purveyor of all things pop culture knowledge, is here. In fact, Marcus was in Graham's chat for 31 Days of Monsters today. I wouldn't have gone over there, but I was drawn in by the allure of Abbott and Costello. And so I had to go in there and get my 2 cents in on that before Graham got his channel shut down because he was playing an Abbott and Costello bit that was a wee bit too long for the censors. Pardon me. Boy, I just had a glass of water, and you'd think that I would be a little less rude. Yeah, I know. Lord Hinson Comics Gator, Henry Jeremek, still trying to convince me to do MODOK versus Zemnu, which it really doesn't take that much convincing for me to do that. Just time. Time is all I need, and it's what I don't seem to have much of these days. Jay Dredd joining us, of course. Daniel Russell, old Muppet guy on a balcony. Well, I'm not the old Muppet. I hope you're not suggesting that. He's generally in our, those guys are generally in my opening, but that opening is really complicated because I have to like change it out every week and put in new clips. And I'm just like, don't want to do it. So I gave you the old intros. Randy Hall says Daffy is better than Donald. I agree 100%. 100%. Let's see. Okay, Marcus Killigrew is pushing Joe Frankenstein 3, The Eye of Ra. And he pushed my book in Graham's chat. So it's only fair that he pushed Graham's book in my chat. So thank you for that, Marcus. Who else is here? Holder 6480 is joining us. Hey, and others. Yeriknov. Okay, what is it? Made it back in time with dinner. Hail Aaron, hail all. Thank you for joining us. Yurekna 5. Yurekna 5. We'll go with that. Thanks for joining us. Geek Avengers joining us. Mrs. Stippling says, cool intro. Thank you, Ms. Stippling. Joseph Pantalones is here. Aaron Lopresti is a noted futurist. I am, because a noted futurist is someone who talks about the future and at least one person takes notes of. Okay. Phil Diaz is a cool cat, they're saying. He is indeed. John McClanahan. How about those corn huskers? John, I was just thinking about you because I told you I was going to post that original artwork on my campaign and I still haven't done it. I have large aspirations of actually getting that piece up for sale. I'm talking about the original art to the Mr. Midnight trading card from the last campaign, the Kid Carter campaign that I'm fulfilling right now, which we'll get to in a minute. So John, keep your eyes open. That may be coming. I'll see if I can get on there tonight. Skull Nasher, Peter Cushing is Frankenstein in Hammer. The monster is Christopher Lee. Right. Exactly. But I was saying Peter Cushing when I was thinking Christopher Lee for the monster, though. And I knew it because I could see the makeup. I could see Christopher Lee in my head, but it came out Peter Cushing. I don't know. There's no explanation. But those guys were, those two names were synonymous with Hammer Films there for a while. So, you can easily see how an older gentleman like myself might confuse the actors. Not the actors, but the names. So, Student OG is here. I guess that's Original Gangster. Let's see here. I haven't seen her or she with Ursula Andress. I'm aware of it, but I don't know exactly, is it a vampire film? I don't really know what it is. Pity Mouse says, love Hammer movies and Oliver Reed and the Werewolf. I love that makeup. My two favorite werewolf makeups are Henry Hull in Werewolf of London, which I believe is the very first werewolf film. I think there might have been a silent one, but in terms as a talkie, that was 36? I know it was before The Wolfman, though, with Lon Chaney. And it was Universal. And it was my favorite because he wore a hat. He was very dapper. He was a dapper werewolf. And then Oliver Reed's is my second favorite werewolf. The white hair. I thought that was kind of interesting. That's a grim movie, though. Oh, my gosh, that's a grim movie. Anyway, Stealth X5 is here. GJ Martinez says, Aaron is one of the best to draw horses in pretty much anything, honestly. Give this man in first place always. Thank you, GJ. Appreciate you very much. Bretsky the Great is joining us. James Murphy. Hola, Señor Lopez. ¿Cómo está? Bueno. ¿Cómo está? Muy bien, gracias. Stealth X5 for $2. Hello, he says. Hello back to you, Stealth. Thank you very much for your... always can count on that $2 hello, and it's a very nice thing. Robert Dones Pills is here. He says, good morning. Good morning. Where are you at, man? Fox Mulder, Love Miracle Mile, great 80s film. Fox has seen it. He knows the truth is out there. Did that ever even get theatrical release? Or was that a straight to video thing? I mean, it had some people in it, so it must have cost a little bit of money, but I don't remember that ever coming out in theaters. I just remember seeing it on in the video rack, and I flipped it over and read the back to see what it was about. And I said, this sounds interesting. I think I'll try this. And it was really good. Denise Crosby, thank you very much. That's the Crosby girl I was trying to think of. Now, she left Star Trek after one season to become a movie star, and it never happened. She was in Pet Sematary. She was in Miracle Mile, and I don't know what else she was in. I always liked Denise Crosby, but hey. Geek Avenger says Denise Crosby, bad actress. Was she really? I don't know. I thought she was fine. I mean, it's not Meryl Streep, but what the? I don't even. What did she draw? Oh, yeah, she kind of did. I was going to blow you up, but now I'm not going to because my Green Lantern wasn't that. I don't know. I gotta get my head in the right space, man, for graybeards. I'm feeling the pressure too much. I'm feeling the pressure, and I'm not being as creative as I should be. But I've got hosting duties and stuff, and so we're trying to get EVS on the show this week. And if we do, it'll be Cyberfrog Universe stuff, and that's gonna rock my socks. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, Jerry Rasco is here. Ryo Stew. Let's see. Oh, Citizen Ronan says he just closed most of our hurricane shutters. Here we go again. Yeah, I keep hearing tell that there's another one headed in. I assume you're in Florida. I was amazed because we used to live in actually the same neighborhood that Sergio Corello lives in now. And it's kind of northwest of Tampa. And it really didn't get much. It just, the storm sort of slipped up by that area and just kind of got the outskirts of it. So I guess it wasn't very bad there. So God bless everyone in Florida in those areas, and take care. Be careful out there. That's the only thing I don't miss about Florida. I love the exotic wildlife, but man, don't enjoy the hurricanes. Let's see here. Auntie Eddie says he's missing Shelly. I know. She's so out of the rhythm of doing this show, though. So even when she feels halfway decent, she's just like, So I got to get her back into it too, back into the groove. Yeah, let's see. Ferris Comics is here. Thank you for joining us. SXS. Wow. Why should that be so hard to say? SXS. What's up, Lopez? Looking forward to Kit Carter. Thank you very much. Hopefully you guys won't have to look forward to it much longer as books are going out. But again, we'll talk about that in a couple minutes here. Quoth the Raven. Louis Bright Raven is here. Ooh, Hawaiian barbecue, pork, and cheesy rice for dinner. I like the sound of that. What am I going to do for dinner? You know what I kind of like? I kind of like flatbread pizza. I mean, anything with pizza attached to it, I'm fine with. But I don't know. I got to go someplace where I can actually get it, because I know I could go buy a flatbread and make my own, couldn't I? I could do that. I might, because I am kind of feeling that. The flatbread pizza. I had one at San Diego when I couldn't get any dinner. I told you guys this story when I came back, and there was a bar it was more than a bar. It was like a big, huge Mungo sports bar kind of place. And they had closed the kitchen down, but they were still serving flatbread pizzas. And I said, I'll take one of those. That's food. It was great. It's fantastic. So very expensive. It was ridiculously expensive. Jeff Potts is here. Hammer set the gold standard for the B movie, for the B horror movie for sure. Henry Jeremick is joining us. Show Me Comics. He's agreeing with me on Werewolf of London. Flady One, love Dog Soldiers. People keep telling me I need to watch that movie. And that's a bunch of World War II soldiers that become like werewolves, right? Yeah. Bloody Drix says it was 1935 was Werewolf of London. Okay. James Murphy, Lopez coming through with the clutch Spanish. Oh, yeah. I am multicultural. Let's see. Paul Taylor, all the way from Canada, is joining us. He is our resident biologist. We always wait for him to interject some scientific language into our cryptid videos to help us better understand what's really going on out there in the natural world. Okay. And if you believe that, okay, let's see who else we got here. Oh, Citizen Ronan's in Fort Myers. Yeah, that's right down there. Isn't that down there on the well, it's on the other side. It's on the East Coast, right? But it's down low. It's down south, but on the East Coast, isn't it? I think it is. Category 3 coming 3 to 4 coming straight towards Tampa area on Wednesday, cutting across and up the state. Yikes. Okay. Well, at least you got a good governor there. It's probably about as prepared as you can be. Catalyst's Vault. Could you see Prince Harry as Green Lantern? I'd rather not see Prince Harry as anything, quite frankly. Now let's see here. Wait a minute here. Show Me Comics says Dog Soldiers isn't World War II, at least the one with, I think, Kevin McKidd. That's a group of soldiers on a training mission. Oh, okay. Well, I haven't seen it. But I know there was soldier guys. And so I just assumed, maybe World War II. Maybe there was Nazi werewolves. There's got to be a movie with Nazi werewolves, doesn't there, at this point? Or am I thinking of a Tarantino film where there was Nazi werewolves as kind of a joke thing in the background? I can't remember. Oh, no, that was American Werewolf in London, wasn't it? Where he had a dream of these Nazi werewolf things. Well, something to contemplate. All righty, so let's do the where am I? I just lost myself. Oh, there I am. Let's do the commercial break for the show early and get this sucker out of the way. Okay, so here we are right now. We're almost it'll be 2 weeks on Tuesday. We need to ratchet this up. See if we can we should be able to get to at least, well, I'd like to think we get over, can we get to 600 backers by Tuesday night? I think we should try. Pass the word on, guys. Let everybody know. If you haven't backed yet, please seriously consider going in there and doing so now. It's the early backing that gives us the funds to actually produce the book. Now, I'm not saying that regardless of what this raises, that I'm not going to do it unless it gets to it. No, I don't do that. I'm professional. I'm responsible. This book is getting done regardless of the numbers we hit. And the numbers are fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to suggest they aren't. But it is important to back early if you can. I know a lot of people like to wait until the book is done or just before we close it out for good. But backing early actually helps the process. So anyway, if that doesn't guilt you, I don't know what else will. Anyway, so what is this about? Well, the Wraith is a Western superhero kind of, that believes he's on a mission from God to wipe out monsters and evil across the landscape of 1883 United States. He is joined by Esther, who is a former Salvation Army worker who got into maybe a little bit more than she thought she was getting into. It was manipulated by the Wraith. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it was, to be his partner. So they've been kind of reluctant partners, but that relationship's growing as we're here into the 3rd issue already. So there's some nice soap opera going on in there. But come on, let's admit it. The draw is always the monsters. And in this issue, they go to the Northeast, to a place called Cranestown, where the Wraith had an experience 20 years earlier with a headless horseman. And he's going back because he feels something's not quite right. So they head back there. We get a little bit more of the Wraith's origin. We get a face-off with the Headless Horseman again. Well, it'll be the first time for you guys, but for the Wraith, it'd be the second time that he's met him. And there's a witch involved. There's an old villain from the past that's involved. There's just all sorts of stuff going on in this story. It's I'm telling you, I'm digging the script a lot. I think you guys are really going to like this one. So don't miss out. So anyway, you have 4 cover options. This is the one that we call cover A. This is the one we call cover B. Now, this is a EC Comics tribute cover. Those of you who are too young to know, EC Comics were like the horror standard. Well, actually, they did sci-fi as well, and some drama and some action and different genres, but they were all sort of pushing the adult into the adult envelope, not sexually, but with violence and horror and things like that. So this is a tribute to the old EC Comics with this cover. So, and then those of you maybe not quite as old, but might remember the 70s, 1972, Marvel did these box frame covers like this. And this is a tribute to those because I absolutely love those. And I was a wee lad back in 72. I really didn't start collecting until 73, but I do vaguely remember these. But then, of course, when I was catching up on all my back issues as a youngster, these became some of my favorite to get. So we're always paying tribute to something. And then the great Chris Stevens. If you guys weren't here last week, you should check out my video from last week where Chris Stevens, the artist on this cover here, this is cover D, by the way, the fourth cover option. And we talked about, his technique, which is just crazy. His technique is crazy, man. And how he did this particular piece for me, but looked at a lot of his other work as well. Really good guy, talented artist. So anyway, those are your 4 cover options. And once we hit 100K, and I would say once, not if, but once we hit 100K, I can officially then have the funds to hire David to finish this story, David Williams. So this is the origin of Imperius, which is another superhero character from the Lopresti-verse. This, of course, right here is Eon Chance, who is one of the, if you haven't read your Lopresti-verse material, you need to get in there, especially Wraith of God Blood Hunters, which is Wraith of God 2, has several backup stories featuring a lot of the other characters that inhabit the Lopresti-verse and give you a real good insight into Eon Chance and what kind of an important character he is in the big scope of things. And Imperius is sort of they're kind of a yin and yang thing. So you've got Eon Chance, but then we have Imperius to kind of balance them out. It's kind of like Yoda and Darth Vader. Or I guess it would be Yoda and the Emperor, right? And it would be Luke and Darth Vader, wouldn't it? I don't really know. But anyway, this is the first 3 pages to that story. And it's just, look at that stuff, man. That's like superhero Kirby excellence right there. You don't want this not to be in the book. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies to buy Wraith of God. It is the hit series of the indie market, and certainly we like to think it's the best book in Comicsgate. There might be some other guys who would argue that. But anyway, and we also got stretch goals. Now we've already hit 40,000, and then that first stretch goal is unlocked. As you can see right there, it says unlocked, and I don't lie. So we're getting a retro page. Those of you who've had the first 2 issues of Wraith of God will know that there's a retro page in there that has descriptions of other titles that haven't been released yet. And you also get a value stamp. The question is, who should I do in the value stamp? The first one was Eon Chance. The second one was Wraith of God. So the third one, should it be Esther or should it be Garbage Man? Garbage Man's actually a pretty big player in the Lopresti-verse. I could do, like some of the Power Cubed characters, or I could do Kenny from Power Cubed, who's the main kid or young man in the story. I got to think about that. But anyway, that's when we hit, it's already in. So it's a done deal. So I've got to do the artwork for that. Because I always use new artwork. I don't like rehashing old stuff. I like to use the new stuff. Speaking of new stuff, you can add on this wonderful 11x17 Wraith Nouveau print, signed and numbered, limited to 500 copies. That's it. When I sell 500, it's over, baby. I'm all about limited edition stuff. I suppose I could open it up to an open edition, which would still be signed, but it wouldn't be numbered. So anyway, this is kind of a cool print. And you can get one of those or you can get the Wraith of God, or you don't have to be an or, and you can get the Wraith of God Roughs Volume 3. This is very popular. This has 48 pages of page layouts from the book. So you can look behind the scenes, open it up, check it out, see what the actual finished page looks like. And it's always fun to kind of look at the process. These are signed and numbered also, and they're limited to orders. So if like I sell like 400 of them, I'll have the printer do like 425, and that's it. So if you don't get these, they're not stuff you can go, I'll get them later, because they're not going to be around. So, seriously consider that. Shot glasses, the nightclub. I'll tell you, and here's a little insider trading. I got the first batch of these, and the logo was printed way too high. It was all the way up here on the rim of the glass. So I had to call them and say, these are unacceptable. And of course, they're getting hit by another hurricane there in Florida, so maybe I'll wait to before I order some more. But so we got to get the logo so it's adjusted, more centered in the glass. But anyway, these will be cool. There's 6 shot glasses planned in this set. This is the 4th. We've had Wraith of God. We've had Garbage Man, and Kit Carter will be the one that's going out with the Kit Carter campaign. And this will be the 4th one, the nightclub. And there'll be 6 total. And then we're going to do a little holder, wooden holder for all the shot glasses. And then, of course, people recommended, you put a bottle of scotch or something in the middle of it. I'm not sure how I'd work that, but maybe a flask or something would be kind of fun. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. So, and the older shot glasses, they're not listed. I don't think they're listed. Did I list them on my website yet? But they're going to be. So like if you want to get a Garbage Man shot glass or a Wraith of God shot glass or a Kit Carter shot glass, although you have to wait till, I don't think there's very many extra Kit Carters. But anyway, after that fulfillment on Kit Carter, then that would go up as well, whatever's left over. You can get Wraith of God poker chips. These are kind of fun. These are clay poker chips. These are not like cheapy poker chips. And that's why I didn't do a whole set. I was going to do a whole set, like 100 chips or 60 chips or something. So freaking expensive. I was like, no one wants to spend $150 on a set of poker chips. And that's almost what we've been looking at retail. So, excuse me, you can get these 3, which is Wraith, Esther, and then the Kill and Werewolf. And it's like a commemorative set of 3. So they're kind of fun. And of course, you can order Wraith of God 1 if you missed it. Right there, this is the second printing, but it has a new cover on it. And the print run on the second printing is way lower than the print run on the first. So, and it has a new cover on it. So therefore, I guess that makes it collectible or even more collectible. And then, of course, you can get Wraith of God Blood Hunters, number 2, Wraith of God 2, the A cover I have available on this campaign. Now, here's the deal on these books. They are available, and all cover options for Wraith of God 2 are available on my website. They're more money, though, than this is. They're $5 more. So you can order them through the campaign and get them cheaper if you're willing to wait till the 3rd book is done for your hollow, and then it will ship out with those. Or you can go to the website, buy it and get it right now, but you pay $5 more for not buying on the campaign. That's just kind of how it works. We got to give the campaign backers the best deal. You guys make all these books possible, so I'm trying to make sure that you guys get treated with the kind of respect that you deserve. So anyway, we've got all these great options, and you've got, I'll go over the perks real quick. You got this 4-pack plus. That gives you all 3 books signed, all 4 books, 3 of them signed. I don't sign Chris's cover. And you get the roughs at, you get $10 off if you buy the, all of them together. These are just the add-ons. You can get A, you can get B, you can get C, you can get D covers, and you can buy the Wraith of God cover A with the roughs, and that gets your Wraith of A cover signed. If you buy them as single issues, they don't come signed. But if you buy them in a group thing like this, the issues come signed. And then you can travel all the way down here and say, you know what, Aaron, I want everything. I want Wraith of everything. And that'll give you $12 off. I mean, it's not great savings, but it is a savings. And you get a shot glass, you get the poker chips, you get all the books and the Nouveau print. So that's, if you want to get everything, this is the way to do it, because you're going to save yourself some money doing it that way. And we got some more original art coming soon to a theater near you. So anyway, there you go. That's what we got. We're at 46,690. I think to get this to, honestly, I'd like to get this to 50 before 2 weeks. I think we're on that trajectory. Man, that's a tough word. But anyway, there you go. That is your public service announcement for today. Thank you for your time and effort. You'll find the link in the description of this video. They'll take you right to that campaign. All righty, here we go. Yeah, GJ Martinez says, can't wait for the Wraith bust. The item is must own. That is coming soon, along with Wraith, the board game. Here's the other problem. That's expensive as heck. Custom cards are expensive. What you could do, the only thing I could do that would be affordable is use, those of you who backed the earlier campaigns, one of the campaigns had a Wraith of God, Ace of Spades card, and then it had a Wraith of God, Esther, Queen of Hearts was in the other one. Okay. So the back of the card, all of them have Wraith of God on it. And on the front, well, the Ace of Spades is just an Ace of Spades, but the Esther card basically has the Esther in the Queen of Hearts, where it can flip. And so she's, whatever. I couldn't possibly do a deck with all new art on that stuff because it's just too expensive on the. But if you order a deck and say, okay, this is what I want on the back, and then they use their whatever they use for Ace and Queen and all that kind of stuff, then we could do it. Then it would be, but then it's not as cool, like you get those decks of like the Marvel cards where Rogue is, the Four of Hearts or whatever, and see that would be super expensive, unfortunately. So that's why I haven't done that yet. Geek Avenger for 5. He says, eventually we need an Empire Comics shot glass rack. Just saying, love your comics. Hit like and I just said, didn't I say that, Geek? I said that's what we're doing when we get to that 6th, whatever the campaign is that will host the 6th shot glass. Then you're going to get the shot glass holder, Empire Comics shot glass holder, and maybe an Empire flask. Wouldn't that be cool to go in the middle? So I got to look into that, but I haven't looked into it yet because we're not going to do it yet for a couple more campaigns. Okay. That's actually a funny idea. I like that a lot. I think that's hilarious. Josh, any chance for an action figure? Seems unlikely. Just watching Ethan go through, he's got the process down, but God, those things are so expensive. You got to raise like $500,000 just to break even. I mean, it's amazing how much those things cost to make, but they're very cool. But I don't see, the only way that I'd ever do an action figure is if someone came and licensed Wraith. If Todd McFarlane calls me and goes, Aaron, I love your Wraith character, I want to do an action figure. Okay, then we do it. But the statue and the bust, they're more expensive retail standpoint, but they're actually easier to produce, if you can believe that. They're just way more expensive, so they're more of a high-end kind of item, but they're easily more doable than the action figures are. Same with the board game. So anyway, as we progress through the, we'll I got to make sure that the steam rolling machine that is Wraith of God is still plowing ahead full speed, because if I start to see people, losing interest, or, the campaigns are dropping or all that kind of stuff, and that basically tells me that doing extra stuff like a bust or a board game may not be a good idea. So we'll see. Merv toilet seat cover. It's amazing the things we could actually do if we could get more than 5 people to buy one of them. Themed dice. That's not a bad idea, is it? I haven't done dice yet. I've done a few cards. We had some poker chips. I'll throw some dice in there. That wouldn't be bad. I don't know that I've seen anybody drastically lose interest in what Ethan's doing. He seems to get the big numbers on the stuff that he needs to do. So how about a Wraith throw fleece? How about underoos? Wraith underoos? Wouldn't that be something? Okay. Here we go. Where are we at on Kit Carter? Well, we have been putting together the packages for shipping out. We got out 27, if you want to be exact, maybe it was 28 orders on Friday. Okay. And we were working yesterday on packaging. We've been doing some packaging today. I did a little bit before church, a lot after church, been before this show. And so I think we're going to have well over 100 orders shipped out tomorrow. So what we've done is, well, Shelly's jumping all over the place. So there's no rhyme or reason. We were doing it by who ordered first. And then Shelly always is like, well, we got to be fair and jump around. I'm like, Shelly, doesn't matter how you do it. Someone's going to be first. Someone's going to be last. It's unavoidable, unless we save them all and then ship them all on the same day. But I'm not doing that. So there's been some Kit Carter completist boxes sent out. There's been some combo stuff sent out, mostly soft cover singles so far. But like I said, we'll be altering back and forth to kind of mix it up. So a little bit of everything gets out initially. And of course it is your guys' job when you get them to share them on social media, say, oh, we love it. Even if you don't, no, I think you're going to like it. It's a fun book. And, but I want there to be like samples of everything out. So everything, so there's some shirts that have gone out, different things like that, but we keep bouncing around without any rhyme or reason. So you could be next. You might be last. I hope you're not last, but if you are last, what can I do? We're doing them as fast. We'll go through them as absolutely as fast as we can. So usually takes a month to 6 weeks for total completion, but the actual orders on Kit Carter were lighter than Wraith of God, so we don't quite have as much to ship. So that may save us some time, even though this is a challenging campaign in terms of shipping because there's 3 different box sizes. The hardcover doesn't fit with a soft cover, so it has to have its own box. The soft cover, then the completist book, a box is a bigger box. So the soft covers are in one box, the hard covers are in another box, and the completist is in a third box. And all these boxes have to be assembled. They're not like the Gemini mailer. You put the book in there and go flip, 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 tape, done. It doesn't go quite that fast. So, but we're figuring it out, and you guys will all be getting them soon. So hang in there. So there you go. That's Wraith of God 3, and that's Kit Carter shipping information. Let's get on with the show, shall we? Okay. I do want to run one other, if you don't mind, public service announcement here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You guys hit that like and subscribe. We got to get this channel to at least 4,000 subs. Come on, man. I hate to sound like Biden, but gee. A little parched, talking too much. Of course, what else am I going to do on a live stream? Not talk? Come on, man. Well, let's take a moment and look at the Frazetta image of the day. I think we should. that is my second favorite Death Dealer painting. And I believe it's his last one, or at least official. Because I think he did 6, I think. But that was 1990. So I think that's was that just after or just before his thyroid problem hit? Or might be during. That's a pretty good painting if he was having thyroid issues. When he painted that. So anyway, I like the color. I like the drama. Gosh darn it, I just like it. So my first favorite is not the original one that we see in the Molly Hatchet album cover, but the second one where he's got his axe above his head and he's just it's very Conan-esque. That's my first favorite. And that was, I keep wanting to say Wraith of God. That was Death Dealer 2. And then Death Dealer 6, of course, is my second favorite. And, you can juggle the other ones in between. So anyway, that actually it doesn't, because next week we're going to look at one more Death Dealer related thing before we move on to other Frazetta goodness. But there you go. That is our Frazetta image of the day and our 6th Death Dealer painting, and fantastic horses. Someone who, J Dread, he has there's of course the war of horses between me and Malin, but Frazetta crushes both of us. I mean, I should be copying his horses is what I should be doing. Do I have it in me? Do I have it in me to be a copier? Sure, why not? Now, but I do want to beef up my horses. I have to admit, I do kind of draw regular horses, and I kind of want a little more of a Clydesdale look. I mean, that's a powerful horse. So we shall see what the horses on the inside of Wraith of God 3 look like, because there's plenty of horseplay in it. You see what I did there? Okay. Do I have more merch for sale? I should have more merch for sale, shouldn't I? I didn't do a t-shirt yet on this campaign. I'm not saying I won't, but here's the question. Let me throw this out to you guys. I could re-release the original Wraith of God t-shirt. I could re-release the Keone werewolf t-shirt, or I could do a new one. Of course, that would require me actually to draw something new for it. But I'm thinking of dropping a shirt in there about, we got 2 weeks till 30-day closeout. Maybe that would be a good time. Maybe there's Andy Smith in the chat. Thanks for joining us, Andrew. They say new one. I've already got the old one. Yeah. The Bisley shirt. That's not a bad idea, is it? That's kind of cool. Then Malin would really have I could do a Biz shirt. Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? I should use more of that. I paid good money for that image and that original art. I should get some use out of it. So I like that. Let's do a Biz shirt. Let's do it. And then Malin can complain. I'll wear it all the time on, wherever I'm around Malin, so he can complain about the horse. Okay. Groovy. Let me solve that problem, huh? Okay. Where are we? Oh, there's Phil Diaz in the chat. We know, Phil, you would buy a Bisley shirt. We know that for certain. Let's see. What are we going to do? Let's jump in. Let's just jump right in and do my top 5 for the week, shall we? Let's do that. Now, as you recall, I said we're going to start doing top 5s of my top 5 comics from each decade. We started last week with the 40s. I didn't go into the 30s because comic books really started in the 40s, or at least, with the advent of Superman and Action Comics. It was 1938, and then Batman in 39, and then it started rolling. So we just kind of, gonna start with the 40s. Okay, so now we're in the 50s. Next week, shocker, we'll be doing the 60s, and that's going to start getting tougher because that's when you got the new Marvel stuff coming in, and then the 70s, and then the 80s. Oh my gosh, the 80s is going to really be hard, and the 90s as well. So we'll go through all the decades, and until I dropped out of comics and quit reading them, because it'll be really hard for me to find 5 that I haven't even read in the last 10 years. So anyway. Let's take a look at number 5. You might notice a bit of a patriotic theme through some of these. I don't even know how much this book is. I should look in to see how much the book is. Yeah, it's the new champ of split-second action. It's the Fighting American from Prize Comics. This is Simon and Kirby. This is 1954. So Kirby's saying, oh, you took Captain America from me, Marvel? Okay, we'll just do it again. And he comes up with Fighting America with Speed Boy, the Wonder Kid, because the kid's on drugs. So he's like a wonder. Who is the Fighting American? Learn his secret in this very issue, folks. Oh, God, don't you miss old comics? This stuff is just plain fun. But you know why these books thrived? Because there was no competition, right? And that's why we have such a struggle now. There's so much competition for your entertainment dollar. And it's I want to look this book up because I want to see how much it's worth. Fighting American number 1. Let's see. As you can imagine, there's not a lot out on the survey here. A 6.5, that's a fine plus to those of you who are counting. 6.5 sold for $1,300 back in 2020 at a heritage auction. So there hasn't been, oh my gosh. So the trick is even finding one of these suckers. The highest graded known, of course, there's non-CGC copies out there, but a 9.0 is the highest graded out there. How about that? And there's only one 6.5. That's the one that sold for $1,300 back in 2020. There's 4 6.0s. God, there is not many of these books out there. This is a hard find. So I'm going to be paying, even for a mid-grade copy of this, probably going to be looking close to $2,000. Ooh, I must have it now. I must. Well, I'm going to be on the lookout now. We'll see. You're talking about Frederick Wertham. Oh, God, that would have had to have been, I thought, is it 58? 57-ish? I mean, he essentially shut down EC Comics. And here's the real sad thing, okay? He's talking about the Senate hearings where they investigated, the comic books and their effect on child delinquency. And it was mainly due to the horror books that were out at the time. But see, superhero books fell out of favor after the war. And then you got into the late 40s and they were just dying out, and they got into the 50s. So then you saw Westerns sort of, and romance comics sort of came into effect, and crime comics. And so what happened was you had EC Comics out there kind of cutting edge on all this stuff. And they had, their horror line, which was very, very popular. And it was, it was edgy for sure, but it was the imitations, the knockoffs that were really gross, because they were like trying to up the ante over EC. It's like, don't buy those, buy these, because this guy gets his eye poked out with a hot poker, or, whatever. Right. And a lot of those are the books that ended up getting used in Wertham's, Seduction of the Innocent, which was the book, or the book he wrote on this whole thing, and in the Senate hearings, although there was some EC ones in there, and Gaines took the brunt of this, because I think there was an assumption out there that all these horror comics were EC Comics, and they weren't. So anyway, rather than deal with the comics code, he just said, screw it, I'm just going to do Mad Magazine, put it out on the racks and the magazine racks, and then I don't have to deal with this comics code stuff. And so ended EC Comics with the exception of Mad Magazine, which stayed with us, of course, till just recently, sadly. So anyway, oh, look at Paul Taylor, Romance Comics, ugh. Yeah, except when they're drawn by Romita and Buscema, then suddenly they're kind of cool. Or Roy says, I think Kirby reused that image for the FF issue where the torch is leaping and flaming in from a hot rod by a cliff. It wouldn't surprise me a bit. But don't you love this? I want to get one of these. Oh, I don't want to spend $2,000 on it though. But let's see what I can find. Okay, so that's number 5. Let's see what number 4 is. Okay, not dissimilar to what I just showed you, but now the Nazis had already been defeated. So we move into the 50s with Captain America. You get them fighting the commies, and we're still fighting them today. Anyway, this is Jazzy John Romita. Now, this is not Romita's first issue. I believe his first issue was 76. But this is my favorite Romita cover. The one, his first issue, is just Cap standing there. It's a nice cover, but this is more action-oriented. It's kind of cool. So this would be my, I believe this is 1954. This would be my number 4 comic from the 50s that I want to get. There was nothing really happening in superhero comics in the 50s of significant note. I mean, DC was still rolling along. Captain Marvel was to a certain extent, but man, the Golden Age heroes, if they weren't fighting Nazis, it's kind of like, it's not as cool. And this eventually became, for a while, because Captain America, the superhero thing, just fell out of favor, right? This became Captain America's Weird Tales, and it was full of monster books. But there's one issue where the Red Skull returns. He's got these clawed hands and Cap's in it. Cap wasn't in his own book for the longest time. This, they kind of brought back after that. But anyway, the Captain America's Weird Tales, I thought was a 50s book, but it was actually 1949, so it couldn't make this list. Anyway, let's see. Randy Howell says, and they complain about Liefeld's ribcage. It is kind of funny. I'm sure Romita was really young when these guys were 18 or 19 years old probably when they started drawing. So they were still developing as artists. The fact they were drawing this well at that age is pretty remarkable. But anyway, there you go. That's number 4. What have I got for number 3? Speaking of Westerns, yes, the character that inspired Wraith. There it is. The original Ghost Rider. Now, this is Dick Ayers did the cover, and he did the art on the inside of all of them. And it's funny, Frazetta did a series of, 5 covers, I think, after this. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. He did the covers for. And but I picked this one because to me, this is the more iconic of all the covers for Ghost Rider. I absolutely love this cover. Even though Frazetta covers were better drawn, I just like the design of this. And so if I was going to get a Ghost Rider, and I did have a Frazetta one. I think I had Ghost Rider number 3, which was a Frazetta cover. But I ended up trading it to get a Captain America Comics number 18, which is a Golden Age Captain America. It was part of many books I had to trade to get that. They're very expensive. Yeah, Marcus Killigrew is correct. Dick Ayers created this character. And Wraith of God was a pitch to Marvel in the 90s to revamp the Western Ghost Rider. And when they rejected it, I kept it and said, you know what? I'm going to do this myself. And turned it into Wraith of God. So there you go. What's Andy saying? Dude, Captain America 77 has him in action as well. Geez, Aaron, you should know these things. Andy, I know a lot of things. I'm not saying he wasn't in action in the other cover. I was saying that was my favorite cover because of the action. My favorite action cover. That's my favorite Romita cover. That's what I'm trying to say. Gee, Merry Christmas. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I wouldn't mind having this. This is probably a couple grand as well, but you know. But that was certainly a theme of the 50s. Was a lot of like photo covers came out too, and a lot of those are pretty valuable. I mean, even they've always been, even like years ago in the collector's market, those photo covers, TV and movie photo covers, were always big for collectors. I always loved those. I was never as much a big fan of that. I'd rather have the art on the cover. But Jimmy Reyes is here. Hey, Jimmy. Well, I don't want to brag, but I bet I have. Well, I don't want to brag, but I bet I've forgotten more things than anyone else here. Oh, I totally believe that. No, Andy, what I said was his first appearance, or Romita's first work, was 76, and that had Cap standing there with his arm up like that and Bucky behind him. That's what I said. Now, I don't know. I can't remember what the cover of 77 is. I'm just saying that 78 compared to 76, which was Romita's first art, I liked that because it was more dynamic. And you then took what I said and twisted it, tried to make me look bad. That's just how it goes. People are just stabbing me in the back all the time. The other was, now Marcus is a big romance comics fan. Those things are expensive because nobody bought them, right? Especially in the 70s. If you find those 70s romance comics that had Romita art in them, that 60s and 70s, and that had Buscema art in them, nobody bought them because girls, spoiler, girls don't buy comics. And so a lot of those didn't get saved, and they were trashed in low print runs. And so that's why they're so collectible. They are expensive. In fact, I'm looking at a Phantom Stranger right now, number 10, that has a Neil Adams gothic sort of romance cover to it. And it's like worth 5 times as much as any of the other issues around it, just because of that cover. So we'll see what that's on eBay right now. I've already said too much. I don't want to invoke anybody to bid against me. Okay. Let's try number 2 here. You know, I should have Andy on the show because he likes to talk comics and find out what his top 5. When I get into the 80s, I should bring him on to see what his favorite comics from the 80s were, because I know he's an 80s kid. So. See, look at that. Paul Taylor says, Captain America 77, striking back at the Soviets, swinging on a hook on a boat. Who cares about swinging on a hook on a boat? Okay. Number 2, speaking of our guy, Frank Frazetta, this is another book I'm looking for. Gosh darn it, it's expensive though, but it's not out of control expensive if you get it in mid-grade, which most of the time, if you can get a Golden Age book in like a 6, that you might as well call that a near mint book, because that's something. They're hard to find in nice grade. And that, of course, is Weird Science Fantasy number 29. Now, these things are out there, but people are usually overcharging for them. And they're usually like a 4, like a VG. And I really don't like to go below a 6. So this would probably cost me close to $2,000 if I could find one in a 6. I could probably, well, maybe I could get it for 16. But again, I love this cover. Now, this was originally a Buck Rogers cover from the Buck Rogers series that Frazetta did. And the guy had a helmet, and it was this guy that with the club, the normal guy, not the caveman, was Buck Rogers. And for some reason, it didn't get used by the Buck Rogers people, which is very odd because this is an awesome cover. So he ends up taking it over to EC, removes the helmet, And now we've just got this guy battling cavemen for Weird Science Fantasy number 29. So if you can find a copy, which you can, the original artwork exists. It's floating around on the internet, at least pictures of it, of this with the guy with the Buck Rogers helmet on. And then you can kind of see what it was originally intended to look like. But this is on my list. Thing is, when you want a lot of books that are expensive, it's like you really got to space them out, because it's not like I'm going to drop, 8 or 10 grand in 1 year on comic books. It's not going to happen. So it's like if I buy a $2,000 book, it's like that's pretty much it for the year. And so then you got to wait till the next year, and then the prices go up. And then, so it's really, these expensive books are hard to get all of them. You just, you have a list of ones you like, and whatever one comes up at the best deal, you jump on it. And there you go. All right. So here's number one. Number one is usually the first of every list. So speaking of Buck Rogers and Frazetta, we're going to go with this one. Now I have one of these. I have the one where they're underwater and the alien dude is taking the helmet off the girl and Buck is coming up behind him. It's a great cover. It's one of my favorite covers. This, however, is probably my mostest favoriteest cover of them all. This book, okay, just to give you an idea, the one that I have, now hang on a second. I'll go grab it. It's just right over here. Hold on to your hats, please. Okay, so this is like my second fave cover from this run. Let's get this out of the way. So this one right here. Okay. That was a 7.0, which is really ridiculous that I got it in this grade. But this book, if I wanted to get this book was a $3,500 book, I think. No, $3,000 book is what this cost. All right. I had to sell some books and some other stuff to raise the cash, but I did, and I got that. This same book, or this book, the one I'm showing you here on screen, in the same condition as that one, 50 grand. So all Frazetta Buck Rogers covers are not created equal, and it drives me nuts. But some of them, for whatever reason, are more readily available than others. And the one that I got, the one that I paid $3 grand for, that's pretty available. Now in a 7.0, not necessarily, but it's probably the least expensive, how would you say that? The most least expensive of any of the Buck Rogers covers. It just happens to be my second favorite, so I'm glad. But this is the most expensive one. And I don't know if it's just because there's less of them for some reason or it's more popular, but you go from $3 grand to 50 grand. I'm out of the market for this, obviously. But maybe someday I'll be wandering on an estate sale and there it'll be. Yes, they ripped off Gary Martin's kit card illustration. Frazetta's shameless. Randy Hall says, why is this guy wearing a Star Trek skirt meant for a female yeoman? In the future, a lot of strange things happening with how people dress. Maybe even stranger than what's going on right now in society. But anyway, that's my number one 50s comic that I would like to have that I will never, I can honestly say I will never own that book. At least by my own means. So, but I do have one of them, and there's another one with with an octopus that on it that I really like. That I don't know how that fits into the price range of these other ones, but some of these are just ridiculously expensive, and some of them are, I mean, they're all expensive. Let's be real, but some of them are ridiculously expensive. This is, I want to get this one too, but I don't know what the price range is on this for like a 5.5 or a 6.0 right now. Because they just don't come up very often. And they do, they're usually just beat to heck. Geek for 5 says, FYI, Buck Rogers radio show is out on archive.org. Episodes from 1939. You know, there's a program I used to listen to all the time. I don't know why I don't listen to it anymore, because I guess I forgot it was on. But it's called When Radio Was, I think. And it's like on Saturday nights. So like when you're home alone working on a Saturday night when you should be out having fun, you can listen to this radio. It's on AM radio. And they just play old radio shows, you know, a variety of different ones, comedy ones, detective ones. You'll get The Shadow or Superman once in a while. And those are, they're kind of fun, you know. And I actually like listening to them. They're great. Some of them are crap, you know, but there was a lot of good ones, and they're kind of fun to listen to while you're working. So yeah, there you go. That's true. The Shadow knows. All right. Okay. So those are ladies and gentlemen, are my top 5 for this week. Next week, we'll be doing the top 5 comics from the 60s, and that is not going to be easy. I'm telling you. There's Pity Moss. She likes the old time radio shows. A lot of Superman classics indeed. Johnny Dollar, insurance investigator. You guys are obviously no strangers to this old radio stuff I speak of. I can't do that because I'm shipping it out right now, so I don't even know what my inventory is. What is going to happen though, LE, the Dreaming Chrysalis, is extra Kit Carter books I have will go up on my website. So you can just order them from my website and you'll get them faster. Anyway, so there you go. Says there's a really good SXS says there's a really good YouTube channel called Late Horror Show that plays old radio shows. See, they're all over the place, man. This kind of simplistic yearning for the good old days has sort of come really back around pretty hard. You know, I think you can only push so much crap on us, you know, until everybody's like, oh, just take me back to a simpler time where I don't have to worry about this garbage. So anyway, I think that's maybe where a lot of us are at right now. I know I am. Okay, so we did that, but let's look at some of my old artwork. Let's do that. It'll be fun. I swear. Indeed, what is in my flat files? We haven't dug around in my flat files for a while. I went back and found a couple of pages from my run on Justice League International, the New 52. Remember that? So I'll tell this story really quickly. I've done a lot of store signings in my day, and most of them were disastrous. Like, in other words, no one shows up. I mean, no one shows up. And those are always humiliating and fun. But every once in a while, you get lucky. And I was at Things from Another World in Beaverton and had set up a signing for Justice League New 52 #1. When it came out, I thought, surely this will draw some crowd, right? It's #1 issue. It's coming out, you know, the day it comes out. It was in the newspaper. I remember those. And I had a line out the door the whole night. I was there for probably 3 hours. And it it was that one moment in time where you think, now I know what Frank Miller feels like. But then you realize after you go home that I could have been anybody. I just happened to be the guy who drew that book for the people that wanted to get their first issue signed. So it kind of deflates you a little bit, right? I really discovered that after I had left Wonder Woman. Oh my gosh, you're the best Wonder Woman artist ever. We love you, blah, blah, blah. As soon as I went to something else, it was like those guys they didn't care about me anymore. So it was the character that was important, right? So, but it still was a grand feeling having that many people show up to get the book signed. So I kept a few of these for odd reasons, and let me show you a couple of them anyway. I'm going to switch cameras. I already tested this. It worked. My camera, for some reason, has been giving me grief when I switch cameras. Okay, it works. Yay. All right, so let's take a look at these. Oh, I just got these sent to me. Finest Wonder Woman Origins and Omens. Nice Terry Dodson cover. No Aaron Lopresti cover. But that's all right. How about a little light on the subject? There we go. So, but here's the thing. Okay, so I don't even know if Terry did. I don't think Terry did any art in here. But once we get to about right here, yeah, baby. This is where Aaron starts. So Aaron's got 2/3 of this book. Yay, look at Aaron go. Woohoo! Aaron, go. Oh, forgot I drew that. Ring girl in a Batgirl costume. It was like a wrestling match or something. But anyway, so I've got 2/3 of the book. But where's my cover? Maybe they don't like me. Maybe that's what it is. So all these are Gail Simone. Oh, there I am. Aaron Lopresti. So I got 2 of these. I'm going to keep one and I'm going to sell another. I'm going to put it up on my website, I guess. Autographed copy or whatever, and see if I can sell it. Okay. Look at this paint. All right. So there was a mini series, kind of a maxi series called JLA Generation Lost. This sort of set up the ongoing Justice League series for the New 52. Now, of course, this had Captain Atom in it and had the new Blue Beetle. And oh, come on, is this going to wash out on me? Is that light too intense for younger viewers? Let's see if I do that. A little better? Okay. And then when they launched the New 52 series, none of these guys were in the team. So it's kind of a bummer. But anyway, well, Ice was still in it, but Captain Atom wasn't in there. Blue Beetle wasn't in there. So why did I keep this page? Because of this panel right here. You know how hard of an angle that is? It is. And Captain Atom turned out really, really well, considering how difficult of an angle that is. And so I was pretty proud of myself. So I kept the page. I got a nice close-up here, and that's a nice shot of Ice down there, right? So anyway, it's not a big reason to keep it, but that was the reason I kept this page. All right. So then, what else I got here? All right, I kept this one because this is Gen Lost as well, issue number 11. This has the Metal Men in it. And look at that Metal Men guy right there. That's why I kept this. And there's Fire. There's more Metal Men action. Ice there. There's that Red Rocket dude. And got a couple of Metal Men here. Here and here. This is the Metal Men chick right there. And that's kind of a cool close-up, even though it's, just helmet and a visor. But the main reason I kept it was that dude right there. He's one of the medals. I don't remember which one. Yeah, Matt Ryan was the inker on there. Jimmy's pointing that out. Great inker. Okay, so then I kept this. Now, I remember I was at, this is Paraxis. There's this villain that we came up with, Dan Jurgens and me. I wanted to go Kirby with it because I thought, come on, we're doing Cosmic Kirby. Let's do it. So that's why you got all this kind of Kirby design stuff on there. Now, I will say this. They gave the covers to David Finch, which really ticked me off just because I lost the covers to this series. But they gave him to Finch because they needed to put him on a series that could handle his cover rate, that was selling well enough. And so, of course, they took it from me and gave it to Finch, and I was pissed. But at the same time, when you see someone like Finch do a cover featuring a character you designed, it's kind of cool. And so this character I designed, and then I got Finch drew him on a couple of covers, and it was really cool looking. So, you know, there is that. But I remember I was I think I was in Boston at a show, and I was out to lunch with Dan DiDio, and I was like, why don't you ever make any of the characters I designed into action figures? And he says, well, like what? And I said, okay, well, first of all, how about, let's see here. I just had this open to this, and I should have left it open. Give me a second here. I said I designed all these Wonder Woman costumes, right? So there's like barbarian Wonder Woman, medieval Wonder Woman, and then like Nordic, you know, Beowulf Wonder Woman. I was like, why don't you do these? You know? And then I also said, why don't you do Paraxis, man? That would be an awesome figure. The big old thing with that big headgear and everything. Of course, he didn't do any of them, but, you know, at least it was a point of conversation. But anyway, so this is not the first appearance of Paraxis. Matt Ryan has that. But I just love I love Guy Gardner's face, you know, as he's kind of like half conscious, getting, you know, beat up by this guy. So that's why I kept that. All right, this is like one of my all-time favorite splash pages. Very sort of harkens back to X-Men Future Past, right, with those big robots. But the lighting effects on here, this is like a futuristic story. That's Captain Atom down here. Just like the lighting. Matt Ryan on the inks again, of course. Just beautiful, beautiful inking. It's always nice when you can send a piece you did that you're really happy with, and then he comes back to an inker, and you're even more happy with it. So these are like those giant OMAC robots from the future. So they are really a lot. This is a lot like X-Men Future Past with those Sentinels and everything, but I really dug this one. So I kept it. And there it is, folks. Yeah, look at all the buildings back there. You kind of do the blue line, you know, of the grid back there for the perspective, and then you just start, you know, putting in your lines and all the start breaking stuff up. So a lot of fun. Now, finally, let me show you my favorite Batman page ever. And it's not even from Batman or Detective. It's from this Justice League. That's why I kept this. So this is Batman in a graveyard. And he's getting shot at by one of the villains. So you got your stone statues here, which are very sort of, that's stuff that Wrightson used to do, Neil Adams would do. And so that's what kind of inspired that. So you got this low angle looking up past these statues. I really love this shot here of Batman kind of jumping out of the way in between the tombstones. Now this is one of the issues that I asked Matt to ink with a pen to kind of give it a little bit more contemporary feel to the line work. So it's not quite as soft, but a little bit more edgy, if you will. And then, of course, the big shot of Batman throwing his little batarang things at the bad guy. So, yes, this is a always got pages that you'll never sell, or at least say you won't sell, and this is one of them. So there you go, guys. That is what is in my flat files today. And my camera still works, so I'm thankful for that. Reyes, Aaron, you're a fantastic storyteller. Great page. Thank you, Jimmy. You guys, everybody back Jimmy's Dragon Rage on Indiegogo. I don't have a link or anything for it, but I'm sure some mods do. Put it in there. That is a live campaign right now. Kind of a Game of Thrones type dragon thing. Looks really cool. So you want to check that out. Paul Taylor says, getting to draw Batman's pretty cool. It is, but Batman was really intimidating to me. It's funny because GJ says, Aaron Lepresti draws one insane Batman. Aaron, I've always loved your Batman interpretation. Thank you. I never felt comfortable with him, though. I always felt like, because he's a character that's really sort of stoic, right? And he doesn't seem like a guy that I could draw to smile, right? So I'm always, and then you put him in positions, it's like, if he's like Daredevil, if you put him in a Daredevil position, you're kind of like, isn't he too cool to be jumping around like an elf? It's like it's like he has this unmeasurable cool level that if you put him in the wrong position, he looks dorky, and you're like, Batman can't look dorky, and he can't look too elegant, and he can't look too, you know what I mean? And it's like you're constantly fighting with that. And so it really sort of, I was always nervous when I was working on Batman. Superman, I finally figured out. I think I got a pretty good handle on Superman, but Batman, I still am always I would have to have a long, healthy run on Batman and sort of kind of figure out really who he is and who I wanted him to be visually. But anyway, there you go. I had my mom putting together, she got I think she doesn't have all the soft covers bagged and boarded, but she's nearly got all the soft covers bagged and boarded. And there's like 1,000 of them. And then I said, Mom, what I need you to do is put together these bigger boxes. And she was just cranking and singing to herself while she was putting these boxes. It was like she was putting together, Domino's pizza boxes. This cracked me up. So now we got all these boxes that I haven't filled up yet because they're for the Kit Carter Completist, which has like one of everything in it. So it's this big box. And so I got all these open big boxes all over the house. I'm like, Mom, quit putting them together. I got to catch up with you first. We don't have a place to put all these boxes. So yeah, she loves to have something to do, but you can imagine you get to that age where you're 93 and you're like, what am I even doing here besides, watching TV all the time? So I put her to work, and then she obsesses over the job. It's not like, just do a couple hours a day, Mom. No, she's like, works all day until it's done. And I'm like, okay, what are you going to do tomorrow? I'm like, string it out, man. So anyway. Jimmy Owen says, hi, Aaron, from camping. You're camping in Nanchese, Washington? My mom is from there. That's where my mom's from, is Nanchese. I've been there a couple of times. Squib says, your Frankenstein Batman story is one of my favorites. Oh, thank you very much. I really liked how that one turned out. There are a couple Batman panels in there that I'm like, but I'll never tell you which ones bother me. So anyway, there you go, guys. That is what's lurking this week in my flat files. Now, since we're talking about art, and I don't mean art to bear, although we can talk about art to bear if you want, but it's time to take a look at another artist who's not me. I love that bass. Okay. PJ Lynch. Who in the heck is PJ Lynch? Well, he does children's books, and he's a watercolor artist, and I love his stuff. Love it. He is a contemporary. He's not he's not gone to the great beyond yet. At least I don't think so. Check this out. I believe this is from A Christmas Carol. I could be wrong. Yeah, Scrooge. Look at that. Kidding me? Great drama. You know, especially for a children's book. You know, usually you're right in the kids' faces with the image, but this is mature. This is a sophisticated storytelling illustration that would take a kid's book up to another level. But I used to go into bookstores and I would go into the children's book section and just thumb through randomly children's books, and you discover some really talented illustrators that way. You discover a lot of untalented ones too, but hey, you take the good with the bad. But and I saw a book this guy had done. I'd never heard of him, and I picked it up, which we'll get to in a minute. Just because I thought his artwork was so great. Katie Dids there, stopping by to say hello, Aaron. Thanks, Katie. Appreciate it very much. We always enjoy your presence in the chat for sure. Paul saying that cobblestone detail is awesome. Indeed, it is. This is just a great illustration. I mean, let's be real here. Here's a book cover, A Voyage to Lilliput. You know, I mean, I may look at the pictures on children's books, but I don't actually read them. I did when my kids were little, but look at that. That's a tremendous piece. Now this, I'm looking at this. This probably is oils, because this color down here, it's a little too rich for watercolors. This could be, but I don't think so. I think we're looking at either oils or acrylics here. It might be, well, I don't know. This cobblestone down here looks like it could be watercolor. It's a good question. Let me see here. That looks like watercolor down here, but this doesn't. I wonder if maybe it could be acrylic. It's hard to say. Usually these guys are so proficient in all the mediums that they just bounce around and use whatever they want. That's no way is this oils down here. It could be watercolor. I mean, it could be. Because you have to layer it up to get that kind of richness and color, but maybe. Huh. It's kind of like a Gulliver's Travels kind of thing, right? The Voyage of Lilliput is kind of like Gulliver's Travels. At least he's being careful not to step on anybody. Here's another one. This is cute. This is definitely watercolors. See, when they're bigger, I can see, it's easy to see the texture. Melisande is the name. This is a giant girl. It's like Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, but back in like the Middle Ages, I guess. That's definitely watercolor. Let me give you a little information on PJ Lynch. It's Patrick James Lynch, born 1962. So he's only 2 years older than me. How about that? He's an Irish artist and an illustrator of children's books, which we're showing obviously right now. Award winner from the Kate Greenaway medals and 3 Christopher Awards. Don't know what any of those are. In fact, I don't know anything about awards. I've never won any, but except my acting award in 9th grade. I did win that. And I took 4th place in a screenwriting competition in a film school, a national competition. And I have a little plaque for that. So that's kind of like those are the only things I've ever won. Now, he was born in Belfast, Northern Ireland in 1962. He was the youngest of 5 children. There you go. He recalls that Belfast during the Troubles was a scary place for a teenager, and he used drawing and reading as a way of escaping for a while from the horrors that were happening around me in the real world. Of course, he's talking about those crazy times in the 60s and 70s, baby. Let's see. As a child, he thought his drawing skills could be applied to a career in architecture, but lost interest in his early teens. Architecture is kind of like math. You have to have kind of like a, you have to have an art brain and a math brain. If you just have an art brain, forget about it. Ask Art of Roy. He's an architect or an architectural illustrator. Maybe, I don't know. Is that the proper terminology? Anyway, he attended St. Malachi's College for secondary school. Both his parents were very supportive of his decision to pursue art in school. How about that? And he continued on to the Brighton College of Art, where he was tutored by Raymond Briggs. I don't know who Raymond Briggs is. Should I know? At the time, Briggs headed the illustration department and encouraged Lynch to pursue a career as an illustrator, which he did upon graduating in 1984. So yeah, he's just a couple years in front of me. His first illustrated book was a Bag of Moonshine by Alan Garner in 1986. Then he did a collection of folklore tales. His most famous or best-selling book is The Christmas Miracle of Jonathan Toomey. It's considered a Christmas classic. Sold out within 3 weeks of its first publication in 1995. He said he initially changed his, he turned it down, the job, thinking he couldn't do it justice. But then he changed his mind, and good thing he did, because he ended up being an award winner for it. And so yes, there's a lot of, again, children's books. If you keep in touch with that stuff, I really don't. But here's some pencil work. There we go. I'm thinking I'd clean the flies. Oh, those are honeybees. I got there were flies all over the place, but they're honeybees. So he's eating honey on his bread. So that's okay. If bees are crawling on your food, it's just not okay if flies are crawling on your food. I just want to throw that out there so we have some clarity on that. Zeno the Stoic says he got an honorable mention for his rock collection in 6th grade. I've often thought of that. I was going to do children's books for my kids. And when I realized no one would buy them, I didn't do it. But I am thinking that maybe I should do that for my grandson, at least kind of leave that as a legacy. But it's a hard market. No one really buys these things. And it's a ton of work. That's the hard thing. You're doing all these color painted illustrations, and they take forever, and you get like hardly anything up front to do it. And then you just pray to God that it sells so you can make money on the back end. Very difficult. I suppose I could crowdfund one, but crowdfunding a children's book would not be the same as crowdfunding a comic. I don't think. But it's an interesting proposition, and I should seriously think about it. And okay. Now look at this. This is kind of creepy. I don't know what this is from, but I like it. Definitely an old witch tale right there. This is, again, watercolors. Well, he got some pretty rich color out of this, so maybe that other one was a watercolor after all. I don't know what this is from, though. You know, it was Louise Simonson who told me how tough of a market children's books were, because she was writing them, you know, right after she finished her, magical decade of great comics in the 80s. She was doing children's books, writing children's books. And she was telling me how, if you want to get rich, don't do children's books. Creative Faye says Kickstarter is usually when, yeah, that's what I would do it. I'd do it on Kickstarter for sure if I was going to do it. I'll think about it, because I've got the classic, A Monster Ate My Sandwich, just sitting here, that was originally designed for my daughter, and I would still do that, I think, for her before I do my grandson a book, because it's already written. I just have to do the art for it. I've actually done promo art for it as well, which I've shown on this show many times. All right, here's the book where I first discovered this guy. And this scan here is a little soft. I apologize. But it's Ignis, illustrated by PJ LYNCH. And it's about these dragons and this little girl that befriends these dragons, this little baby dragon. So it's very much a children's book in that sense. It lacks serious adventure. But the artwork in it is tremendous. And I actually have a copy of it sitting over there on the bookshelf. And I found this. I thought, this guy's awesome. I bought it many, many years ago. I don't even remember what I said that you're responding to, but to the, yeah, I would, yeah, they're, if you're talking about like more mature kids books or weirder kids book, these definitely, yeah, those are two authors that would fit into that category. Now, I don't know what this is. I mean, I know what this is from, what story it's from. I don't know if he did his own version, The Wizard of Oz here, or, if this was just a spot illustration for something, or if he actually did an illustrated version. Oh, excuse me. Of The Wizard of Oz, I don't know. This is also watercolored, clearly. I've always wanted to do a children's book, but I was always afraid that no one would buy it. I mean, you've seen my Fantastical Creatures book, right? It's on my website. It's not really a children's book, but it's this type of thing with that illustrations. I made zero money, and it was like months and months and months of work for nothing. So it's made me very leery. You can get a copy though on my website. It's a fun, entertaining little book. Here's more from Christmas Carol. Another nice composition here, where it was very interesting that the ghost is here in the shadows with, I assume, was he the ghost? He was Christmas Past, wasn't he? I can't remember. So yeah, but it's interesting that they're sort of back here in the background with the other characters here filling in the foreground elements. Everybody's walking around on the street with steaming food. Why aren't they in their houses eating it? That's the question. I love the buildings, the old buildings and architecture. I love that stuff. Anyway, very nice piece. And finally, wow, what is it? The Snow Queen? I don't know what this is, but it's very cool. And it is, again, watercolor. Look at that. It looks like one of those weird elf books by, what's his face? They did the design work for Dark Crystal and a ton of other stuff. Oh, why can't I think of his name? Famous elf fairy troll artist. Come on, you guys, help me out. Help me out. Well, you might be right. That is a good point. Brian Froud, there it is. Thank you. And Lewis Bright Raven got it as well. Phil. So yeah, anyway, if you guys are looking for art, check out PJ LYNCH. He does really nice work. Have I done Brian Froud on this show yet? I don't think I have. We should take a look at Brian Froud's stuff. Let me remind me to do that next week. I'm getting all kinds of pressure to do a children's book. Okay. All right. You guys all better buy it. That's all I got to say. Okay. Here we go. So that is PJ Lynch. Take a look at his stuff, you guys. It's pretty good stuff, obviously. Paul's reminding me do Froud next week. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. GJ Martinez says, Aaron, just make a children's book. I'll buy 3. Okay. Okay. All right. A monster ate my sandwich. It's coming soon. Maybe I can kind of work on it in the background on the side as I'm working on Wraith of God 3 so I can have some pages done and jump right into it. And I've got so much extra time. The Dawn says, happy belated anniversary to you and Shelly. Excuse me. Thank you. 32 years. Wow. 32 years. Amazing. Paul Taylor says, I'll buy one as long as it's in color, for crying out loud. I'm not going to do it. You can't do a children's book in black and white, Paul. Now, I might do a Savage Tales magazine in black and white, but you can't do a children's book in black and white. Andy took a bath in his children's book. Well, yeah, but it's not a traditional children's book. It's, it's like a barbarian children's book, which is probably a different audience than I would possibly be going for with mine. Merv the Astro Chimp is curious. George says Randy Howell for $2 Canadian. You could have a space adventure with the Merv the Astro Chimp, although he could eat pizza, but he could not drink beer in the children's book. Jimmy Ray says, yes, you can, Aaron. You can make a black and white children's book. It's called a coloring book. I almost did that. But it was going to be an adult coloring book. And everybody like Graham, I remember Graham Nolan going, are you out of your mind? Launch a comic book. Do not launch a coloring book. Because I was kind of to test the waters on something kind of cheaper. So if it didn't make that much money, I wouldn't be that much in the hole producing it. So, he says, well, my kids are early teens, but they love reading your books. Well, Wraith of God is that's an early teen book, isn't it? Kind of. I mean, I think you'd be all right with Wraith of God of the 12, 13-year-old. It's kind of violent, but it's not horribly violent. No, not like that. Not like a porn book or anything. It just had like illustrations. Like there was a pirate ghost illustration, and there was John Carter of Mars thing in there. I mean, stuff like that. Well, I could add on. Yeah, but that's the thing, Pity Maw. The adult coloring book, that's like all work and a ton of work to put into something that's just as an add-on that maybe you sell 200 or 300 copies of. I mean, I don't know. Maybe black and white probably wouldn't be that bad. Well, guys, you're giving me all kinds of ideas. I got to start writing this down. Maybe I could. I mean, I've got like 7 or 8 illustrations that would go into it already that are just sitting here completely unused. Okay, now you guys got me thinking. You got me thinking. All right. Squibs, it's just line work. Like, it's just line work. Have you seen Wrightson's Color of the Creature book from 1974? Look it up online. That's not a coloring book. It's just black and white line work, but it's amazing. Anyway, okay. Where are we at? Where are we at on the old schedule of things to do? Oh my gosh, we've been going for 2 hours. I guess it's time. Now, somebody sent me, some of you guys sent me like this latest video of Bigfoot, which I forgot to copy and paste this week. So I'll save it for next week. But I do have some stuff for this week that I don't think we've seen before. So let's take a look. I got to do this quick so I can go get some flatbread pizza. Did I say that right? Flatbread pizza. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Well, Yeah, but it's amazing. It's amazing. Stealth. I've got Wraith beanies for sale. Okay. They're $18 plus what? $6 shipping. So I think they're like $24. Just PayPal me and say, hey man, send me a beanie. And I'll do it. They're not on my website, but they should be. The Art of Roy's got an entirely different idea. Don't do it, Aaron. Do a Calvin and Hobbes treasury type book with a single page illos or multi-panel encapsulated stories. That's what I was going to do with Kit Carter. That's what Kit Carter was going to be. But it turned out to end up being a 64-page graphic novel. So, yeah, these are, man, this is when you need these, man, the winter season. Aaron at aaronlopresti.com is my PayPal. So $24. And yeah, that covers shipping. So yeah. So you go Aaron at aaronlopresti.com on PayPal, and that's my thing. So I don't know where my PayPal link is. I'm going to put it right here. There it is. Aaron at aaronlopresti.com. That's it. Okay. So what do we got here? I don't even know what this is. Let's see. I can't even remember. I find these things, I stash them, and then I'm like, what is this? We know it's Bigfoot, allegedly. Let's see if it's a good Bigfoot, though. All righty. Oh, there he is. Did we show this one before? I can't remember. I can't even tell what that is. I mean, is that his ear right there? Wait a minute. Slow down. Slow down. Is that his ear right there? Gosh darn it. I said stop. I think his ear is right there, right? But where's his rest of? That's his ear. That's his brow right there, maybe? I don't know. What do you guys think? I can't. Where's his face? I'm not seeing his face. Oh, then he gets up and walks away. I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this. I can't see his face. And then he just walks off. And there's the guy I stole it from. Actually, he stole it from somebody else. So is that really theft? If I steal it from a guy who stole it from somebody else, that's okay, isn't it? I don't know. Paul is correct. If it says Cold Crocodile Press, that's fine. That's me. That is that's my actual publishing company is Cold Crocodile Press. Empire Comics is just a label for the comics. But if anytime I publish a book, like The Art of, it's Cold Crocodile Press. In fact, because Kit Carter is not a comic, it's a graphic novel, actually 8.5 by 11 book. It has both logos, the Cold Crocodile Press and the Empire Comics logo on it. So there you go. Just saying. I'm just saying. Cold Crocodile Press. I will tell you where it came from. Cold press is a type of watercolor paper. It's a really textured paper. Hot press is really smooth. Okay. And I wanted to do something with dinosaurs or crocodiles or alligators or something like that because I'm a big, lizard guy. So not in the sense that Jim Morrison was, but so I was just kind of messing around with putting stuff together. And I thought, well, wait a minute, cold press. Crocodiles are cold-blooded. It's actually a triple pun. Cold crocodile press. So you get the cold-blooded crocodile. You've got the cold press watercolor board. And and it's the name of a printing company. So, and it's kind of, Bernie writes, and when he was publishing his own stuff or trying to, I don't know that he actually ever, he published a couple of the Frankenstein portfolios under Tyrannosaurus Press. That was what his publishing label was. And if you remember, Barry Smith had the Gorblimey, I believe that's the correct pronunciation, the Gorblimey press. So I was like, okay. So the idea of having an old style printing press, right? So I wanted to use the press part because of those guys being such huge influences of me growing up. And then I came up with the cold press art board and the crocodile because, you know, and then of course we had the logo of the crocodile with the egret standing on his nose, holding a palette of paint and dripping it on the alligator's nose. So that's the logo for Cold Crocodile Press. If you haven't seen it, it's on the back of all of my, well, it's not on the back of the comics. It's on the back of my books. So anything that's like a sketchbook or like the Wraith of God Roughs has the logo on it. And I love the logo. I did it years ago and I still love it. And Empire Comics, boy, you want the whole rundown? So Empire Comics was, I was trying to find something that was Marvel Comics, Empire Comics. And I wanted something that sounded forceful and strong and like DC Comics. I mean, we're used to it, but it's terrible. Marvel Comics is great. Marvel Comics, right? And so I wanted something that was just, it was short, but felt impactful. And so I came up with Empire and no one was using it for comics. So I just stole it. And I know there's an Empire magazine in Great Britain. It's a movie magazine. They could probably sue me if they wanted to, because we're sort of in the same space. And Billy Tucci's first release She through Empire Comics, but those guys went out of business. So, but that explains it. It's that simple. Although Cold Crocodile Press is not simple, but Empire Comics is fairly simple. Okay. Okay. Now this is okay. Get your hankies out, your Kleenex, because this is allegedly a dead baby Sasquatch. I think it's more like closer to a voodoo doll, but let's take a look here. There's his belly. This is so freaking fake. I mean, it's, you know, the funny thing is the guy that's narrating this is like talking about, well, you know, this is real because no one could fake it and make it look this good. And I'm like, okay, first of all, this doesn't look good. And secondly, there's plenty of people that are very talented that could make a, look, it looks like a shrunken head voodoo doll. But apparently somebody found this in the woods. Did they take it to the authorities? Did anybody inspect this? Of course not. You know why? Because it's a doll. Okay. Anyway, I'm not even giving you the time of day on this one. This is fake. This is fake fakery. And that's the worst kind of fake, is fake fakery, because it's like twice as bad. There's that guy again. I stole this from him as well. Sorry, guy. He has a channel, though, that actually has some pretty good weirdo videos. I can't remember the name of it. But I'll quit looking at his face. He's probably going to be pissed at me. Okay. Now, this is one of my favorites. I think we've seen this one before, but I like to call this Big Fat Bigfoot. So I wanted to look at it again because it's, there we go. There's Big Fat Bigfoot. Okay, so of course they're saying, well, this has got to be real because nobody's that big. And if it was a costume, he couldn't be that big. I'm like, okay, first of all, you can pad a costume pretty easily to make yourself look way bigger. Secondly, they're saying, but look how articulated the musculature is. Certainly you couldn't do that with a costume, which of course is BS. They do it all the time with costumes. They really went for his butt cheeks here, which I think That gives it next level stuff. He's got a lot of back fat, which I think is, is important. Look at this. I love this one. Now, yes, I think it's, as my good old grandpappy used to say, it's as fake as the day is long, but I love it nonetheless. Look at those Bigfoots tromping around. They put some effort into this costume, but of course, we're not seeing the front because the face probably sucks, or there is no face. And you'll notice how bouncy and jaggedy this recording is, again, to not allow us to see the costume really clearly. But I like it. Dale A, correct. Maximum Fear is the name of the YouTube channel Aaron steals from. It's not the only one I steal from. So I'll give him a shout out. He does have a lot of good cryptid videos. His commentary, though, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he believes any of it, but it's very dumbed down for an audience that apparently believes anything. But he does, but he steals videos off TikTok to make his channel. So why should I go all the way to TikTok when I can just steal from him? Sleeping Psychopathy says he's just big boned. That is one big Bigfoot. Look at the booty on the Bigfoot. Unbelievable. That's look like Lizzo or something, man. That's incredible. All right, so that's one of my all-time faves, just for entertainment purposes only. What is this? Oh, I don't know what this is. I can't remember. It's called Bigfoot Stroll. So it's Bigfoot on a stroll, apparently. Let's see. Mm-hmm. This is a still. There we go. My gut feeling on this one is bad camera work. We don't want to see the ground. I don't know. Look, the closer we get in here, this looks like it was added as a digital effect. That it's not a dude in a costume. It's just simply a digital effect, and not a very good one at that. GJ Martinez. Oh, I'm sorry. Where'd you go? There it is. Fake as you know what. Again, people thinking maybe it's another Kelsey sighting. But don't you think when it gets closer, that just looks like it's digital and it's fake? Is that his face right there? Wait a minute. Hang on a second. When they freeze it, what are we looking at, man? Is that his nose? And he's got like a big old smiley face. Those are his eyes. Is that what we're seeing? Or am I looking at this completely wrong? But see how smooth and like this is a digital fake. Of course, Duck Bacon has a great point. Totally real. You can tell because of the camera shaking. Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. There's just some real serious problems with this. You turn this into my class, you're getting an F, because I think you like stayed up the night before this was due. I expect better than this. One day I'm going to make my own Bigfoot video, and it'll be better than anything we have shown on this channel, and it'll still be fake. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Ooh, Bigfoot at night. You never know with Bigfoot at night. Let's see what. Now, allegedly, this is a trail cam shot. Allegedly. In fact, there's the trail cam right there. So let's take a look. What does Bigfoot at night look like on a trail cam? We got a nice, slow, clear, in focus. All right. All right. What the heck? What do we even, is that his nose right there? Oh, wait a minute. Did I clip it? Yeah, you guys are seeing it. The arm's pretty good, but is that his nose? Are those his eyes over here on the side of his head? What in the world are we even looking at? Oh, there's that guy again. I'm not saying that I'm, ripping him off, but, okay, let's take this again because I have something I can compare this to. And you tell me if maybe this is what we're looking at. All right. Okay. So look at these. Okay. Now hold on to that thought. All right. So we got these multiple lighted areas, right? So are we really, is what we're seeing really this? Isn't that really what we're seeing? This guy from Star Trek, he has the two light and the lights over here and the light up here and the light there. I think that it's this guy, not a Bigfoot that we're seeing in that camera. What do you guys think? Kind of like one of the animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's. I have not seen that movie. Are you seeing the host of that other channel's on here more than me? Is that what you're saying, Pastmaster Dan? Bigfoot envy, maybe. Says looks like a pile of poo. That's a rock monster from the Abe Lincoln episode that we won't get on the landing party till like the third season. So it's a wise, but Metallica. A Silent Spirit says, my money is still on Nito from Dark Souls. Okay. Well, anyway, was it a Star Trek monster? Was it a guy in a ghillie suit? Was it Bigfoot with multiple eyes? I don't know. But I do know one thing. It was fake. Okay. Someday, actually next week, I'll show the latest Bigfoot footage that I was sent from a couple of you guys sent it to me. A couple of different people did. And it's right up there with Jack Link's beef jerky. So it's a good one. I wish I'd remembered to bring it on this week, but now I have something for next week. Yes, he did actually. In this episode, he did. You guys are talking about strange things that I know nothing about. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Looks like pizza's in my future. I'm really feeling it tonight. But please, I would ask you guys, got a pretty good audience today. Thank you. Please hit the like and subscribe. Helps the channel grow. We want to get to 4,000 subs here before we're almost there. So help us out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that. Remember to back Wraith of God 3, Fear Hollow, if you have not done that. That is my Indiegogo campaign for graphic novel. It'll be at least 64 pages long and possibly more and possibly much more. When we get to 100K, not if, but when we get to 100K, the David Williams backup story will be added, and that's an extra 10 to 12 pages right there. So this will be another big, hefty book of great value, so you don't want to miss it. And let's face it, Wraith of God has become one of the popular indie comics, maybe one of the more popular books, period. So I thank you all for that, for the positive reviews and pushing the product and the book. Please help continue to do that. Share the link whenever you can. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Back Wraith of God, Fear Hollow. It is live right now. You'll find a link in the description of this video. You will find a link to my website in the description of this video. There's links everywhere. What you won't find here, though, is a missing link. So anyway, thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on multiple channels in this upcoming week. Good night, everybody. And appreciate, also thank you very much for the super chats. Couldn't do it without you guys. Appreciate it. Night night.